We all know what the traditional car lease is all about. One car, 2-3 years, certain amount of miles. But a subscription program for cars means you get a whole garage full of car possibilities. So what's that all about?
Really, it's actually a combination between rental cars and leasing. It's the ability to go in and obtain a vehicle for a shortened period that includes insurance and maintenance, and then be able to turn it back in. So it's kind of all the value that you get out of a rental car at a theoretically lower price, right? But including insurance. And so what it tries to do is strike the balance between those two for people who don't want to own an asset but want something that's more affordable and all-inclusive rather than a rental car experience.
And who is this going to appeal to?
Well, that's a really good question. I mean, it appeals to people who temporarily need a vehicle. It appeals to people who have a desire to switch in and out of vehicles. They don't want to have one kind of vehicle for a very long period of time. But I think the experts would say that you can't actually pin an actual demographic to this, except that there is a popularity in the user group, that there's a certain group of people that really like it, and another group of people who are just not interested in it at all. It doesn't fit their lifestyle.
We've heard some of the automakers talking about doing it on their own, but we're talking today about some broad subscription services where you'll involve several dealers, possibly. Right. So there's a subscription service that'll cover everything in all one service. But are we talking, what kind of money are we talking about here? Is there any idea of the cost to the consumer yet?
Well, first of all, it's going to be more expensive than a lease, right? Because you're rolling in the insurance costs, but you're also rolling in risk too, because effectively you are paying a higher price for flexibility, and that's it. You can turn it in, you can exchange it for another vehicle. In exchange, there has to be a higher revenue because there is a risk to depreciation on the model, so they're going to charge you more. So if an average lease on a luxury car is $500, $600, and then insurance, you got to wrap that in as well, you can anticipate that the subscription costs for these are going to be well over $500, closer to $1,000 per month in order to get the kind of car that you want.
Now, Cox has done some pretty deep research already on this. What does your research tell you about the consumer's attitude towards subscription car services?
Well, specific to subscription, there's awareness. About 25% of those we talked to were aware of it. And only 10% of those in total would consider subscription for their next vehicle purchase point. So there's good interest, there's slight preference towards it. So it's a subset of the bigger industry, but it's growing. 2015 to 18, it grew, and we see that continuing to grow as we as an industry offer different products for consumers that raises their awareness and increases their desire for it.
Is there one demographic that seems to be more interested than another?
It's across the board. The survey we did was across America and statistically significant for all of America. So I'm sure if we cut it tighter to different markets, we'd see higher expectations out of those markets. But in general, it cuts across general America.
And what are the downsides? I mean, are dealers accepting this concept?
I think dealers are, like we are searching their way through it. More progressive personalities are engaging. And then there's some that are going to be fast followers, but we do believe that dealers are at the center of it along with the manufacturers. It's just a new innovation for ownership in our industry, and we feel like dealers and OEMs and companies like Cox are going to help enable consumers to have those alternatives.
Have there been any projections on cost to the consumer for this service?
Right now, the market's trying to find itself, and I see mobility programs from in the 500s up to 1,500 to 2,500. So, depending on the product set that a particular dealer is offering for consumers, how often they can change the vehicle out, what kind of term they're signing up for, the monthly subscription varies.
We looked at every company, and then we also started talking to the other experts and saying, okay, and I call other dealers in other markets that are doing it to try to get the tricks of the trade. What's working? Are you getting, when it comes off of this program, are you getting killed on the used car side? Are you depreciating enough? What are you depreciating?